The college football experience, James Madison Duke's 2024 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with the promo code TCE SGPN to score up to $250 in bonus cash. They just introduced college football best ball, folks. So get on over there. Underdog Fantasy, promo code TCE SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, everybody. Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this. Let it ride.
Experience, James Madison Duke's 2024 season preview. Put your Dukes up. Let's fucking go. As look, I think there's a lot of hype around the program. You talk about teams coming into the mix that as far as like the FBS, I think it's a good question to ask. Which team from the FCS came in seamlessly the most? You know, because I do think Marshall might have a point.
Yeah.
Georgia Southern, App State, and JMU. Which one do you think came in? I mean, I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. Shout out to the chat, youtube.com/the college experience, as we break down all 134 college football teams in the land. Get on over there wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, all that good stuff. So jump on over there and check that out. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Kobe Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Don D. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos.
Yes, I got the $1 million smile. I just need the fistful of pesos, which I will cash after this win total projection.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to the chat. Easy saying, did those schools do it in every sport like JMU did? JMU did not do it in basketball, buddy. They were good since the days of Steve Hood. They only did it in football, as far as I know. Maybe volleyball or some shit.
They didn't. Well, when you say they were good, they were FB or they. I guess every team in basketball is Division I, so the transition isn't really, a transition. You've just been there. But yeah, I mean, I would say no. We haven't been good since the days of Steve Hood. We've been real bad at basketball.
Until last year.
Our athletic program is going through something right now. I'll take it, But yeah, I would say yeah, we're doing it in both sports though at the same time. And we got women's. I think softball is pretty decent. Women's lacrosse is pretty solid. We're doing things.
Well, I would say.
Even JMU baseball.
App State made the NCAA tournament 2 years ago.
And hoops
in hoops, yeah. So fair question, and I guess Georgia Southern, Coastal Carolina won a national championship in baseball. So I mean, should be mentioning them in the mix too, folks. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C, in the place to be.
Hi-oh. Up.
Let's get it going.
Yeah,
Let's
boy.
get it going. Charles Haley, Gary Clark. Scott Norwood, Patty C. All right,
Ben DiNucci, baby.
the Nooch.
Dallas Cowboys starting quarterback Ben DiNucci. Come on.
There you go. There you go. And a lot of school. What it took North Carolina like 1,000 years till TJ Yates started a game for the Houston Texans to have a quarterback take a snap. One of the last schools in the Power 5 to have a quarterback take a snap, and that was like in the past 10 years. So, JMU got you covered there. Buddy, where are you at with the program? Obviously, Easy's talking about it, how great the program's been athletically over the past couple of years, which he's telling no lies there. But you obviously lose Kurt Cignetti. Here's my question for you. How many times can you lose a coach? Because doing the exercise, what's the guy's name that was there when you were there? I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Mickey Matthews.
Yes. Mickey Matthews had this thing going. And then it went to Everett Withers, and then from Everett Withers to Mike Houston, from Mike Houston to Kurt Cignetti to now Bob Chesney. Do you have are you a little concerned just how many good coaches can you stack up before you start losing games, or is this you just think a fine-tuned machine?
Again, do you consider Everett Withers a good coach? He did get us, after consecutive 7 or less win seasons under Mickey Matthews at the end of his tenure. He came in and got us in the college football FCS playoffs twice. So I guess that does make him a better coach, at least at the end of his tenure, than Matthews was. But
yeah, well, I don't know. Matthews, I mean, they went to the championship game under Matthews.
Yeah, we won it in 2004. We had a number 3. We had 3 top 10 finishes. But Matthews was a good coach, and he took a program that really hadn't done much in a while and turned them into a pretty good program. But I would say certainly since Withers got there, it's been they had 8 straight playoff appearances up until they made the jump. And then obviously 2 pretty successful years, first 2 years in the FBS. So I don't know what happened, but the program kept going and going.
It is coach proof though. Like I'm looking at FCS playoff berths in the 80s and then Rip Shearer in the 90s. I mean, 2 FCS playoffs. So it's like, it seems like it has been coach proof. No matter who
it is
was there.
I don't understand. Even I don't understand. I think it's probably that there's enough talent in the state of Virginia that there should be more than 3, or at least 3 quality FBS football programs. And the fact that there were only 2 FBS programs, period, in Virginia and Virginia Tech for the longest time. So JMU obviously finally figured it out and started dominating at the FBS or FCS level. And then I think everyone's been surprised at the success they've had for the first 2 years in the FBS, but hey, so they're doing something right. I think it starts at the top. I can't say anything about the school president, but the athletic department and the athletic director he just left, the athletic director, but he's been doing a phenomenal job across the board. So I think it does.
Do you remember how long he was there? Because there's no way, the program's been rolling along further than he's been there. So that's why, he did do a good job hiring, Mike Houston and then Cignetti, but I just feel like they've been good for a long fucking time.
I gotta look up Jeff Bourne's tenure there. But yeah, it's they have been good for a 25-year tenure. So I guess he has been there for quite a while. Bourne, he finally stepped down this season. So
I stand corrected. I did not think he was going to be there that fucking long.
That's impressive. The turn of the century. So I think it seems like based on timing that Mickey Matthews might have been like his first hire, because Mickey Matthews got there right about 1999. So maybe that's been our golden ticket for the last quarter century, and with him leaving, that's kind of scary.
That might be more scary than the Cignetti leaving.
Than any coach, right? Yeah, exactly.
But I think he did hire Chesney. He hired Chesney before he left.
That's his parting gift to us, hopefully.
And let's talk about that. But before we do that, I want to let people know you are listening to the College Football Experience, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. And look, everything in the merch store right now is 10% off with the promo code football, because it's that season. I'd recommend going out there and getting a Pick Dundee t-shirt or a Patty C t-shirt. Jump on over to the SGPN store. You can just sportsgalleypodcast.com, or you can just download the SGPN app, which is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. If you followed the FCS college football experience over the past few years, I have been a huge fan of Holy Cross football. Now, I was lobbying for Boston College to do the right thing and hire Bob Chesney.
They should have,
but they didn't. Well, I mean, Hafley left late, but JMU gets them. Let's talk about this, because I mean, I kind of think this is a home run here. The guy's 111-46 and 14 years as a head coach. Now, he coached at Salve Regina.
Regina.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Assumption. I'm going to make the assumption that this was a great fucking hire by Holy Cross, because and one of my favorite things is all Northeast. So of course he has a Kennedy as the OC. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
Of course he's got a Kennedy coming from Boston and fucking Holy Cross.
All those schools, definitely Catholic schools too. So I am surprised you went to JMU. It's breaking a trend, but hey, we're God's team. So of course,
yes, just don't get your head blown off. I mean, the job he did at Holy Cross was fucking incredible. If you watched, I mean, Holy Cross had 2 FBS wins. They almost had a third one against Boston College last season. Might have even been 3 FBS wins. I'd have to go back and go through all of it.
Yeah, last season was tough for him. They had a couple close losses against good teams, but if you leave that one out, it's been like almost 4 straight spectacular years.
Well, I think they played South Dakota State the hardest out of any team when they won the championship. You know what I mean? And they're doing that with just like South Dakota State can get NFL guys. You know what I mean? Like Holy Cross, even though I think a couple of Holy Cross guys made the NFL off his rosters. But my point is that like it's a harder sell. South Dakota State, that's the only ticket in town. You know what I mean? Like they spend way more money than Holy Cross does. I love this hire. And
I know North Dakota State, and North Dakota State got who was the quarterback that ended up on the 49ers that was obviously
Trey Lance.
Yeah, Lance. He was like state player of the year in Minnesota, had FBS offers all over the place. North Dakota State offer, but obviously South Dakota State has now surpassed North Dakota State. So it doesn't really need to be said how important football is and how successful those schools have been. So for Holy Cross to challenge them at all, super impressive by Bob Chesney.
Dude, and he's only had 1 losing season in his whole career, and that was the first year at Holy Cross when he went 5-6. To give you an idea, folks, if you go back, like that's like a decent season at Holy Cross. Now I know they were good in the 80s with Gil Fenerty and the guy that played both sides of the field, a Heisman candidate. I'm drawing a blank on his name. But I mean, it's very impressive. And Dean Kennedy comes over from Holy Cross as the OC, which I like. Now the DC is even more intriguing to me, bringing in Lyle Hemphill, who is a Mike Elko guy. He was the co-DC at Duke last season. Patty C.
Gotta like that. Nice hire.
Your fucking athletic director who left was on top of it. He was on top of it, in my opinion. Because I think this is a fantastic hire. I mean,
fantastic hire across the whole, at least coordinators and head coach.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like Bob Chesney's 47 years old too. I wonder if he'll do like 3 years and leave, or if this is someone that you can convince to stay here. I mean, to give you an idea, folks,
here for more than 4 or 5 years. Yeah,
he's won 29 games in 3 seasons here. I mean, at fucking Holy Cross. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like unbelievable. He's been to the playoffs for 7 of the last 9 years. That's impressive, man. That's very impressive.
I'll say this: Dean Kennedy, a young coach, graduated college in 2013, where he's playing quarterback for Rochester. So I don't have his age because I'm not a mathematician, but I guess he's been about 10 or 11 years removed from college. So he's in his early 30s, and then Lyle Hemphill, only 44 years old. So he's gotten 2 younger coaches. I guess Hemphill's entering his prime as a coach. So I think that there is a possibility because of that they stay a little longer. There's no pressure for them to jump ship immediately. So maybe we get 4 or 5 years out of him, but it could be 2 or 3 if they have a lot of success before he gets snagged.
Before Boston College rights their wrongs.
Yeah. I mean, my stance. As long as there's an Irishman at Boston College and a 7-5 season follows, all is right in Chestnut Hill.
I can't picture Bob Chesney. Like he's got to go Virginia, UVA comes calling.
Oh yeah, he won't go to Boston College. That would be shocking.
No, I said the SEC. I said.
Or the SEC. Wait, you can't see him going to the SEC?
No. He's not scummy enough. This is a straight shooter with upper management written all over him.
I hope you're right, obviously, but I feel like money talks. I think you're. Who knows?
When's the last? Aside from Vanderbilt, when's the last time they got like a straight shooter?
The SEC.
I mean, Mike Leach wasn't a scumbag by any means, but he definitely was a character.
There, you might have a point there. It's not that necessarily he wouldn't take it if they threw $10 million in his face, but they probably would never offer him because
unless it's Vandy,
has some scruples. Yeah, well, Vandy just got our basketball coach, so they might.
That's true. And Mike Elko did go to A&M.
That's true.
All right. Fair enough. Shout out to Daniel in the chat. Yeah.
This Dean Kennedy fellow, I know I'm jumping ahead here, but Dan Mullen, I guess original, was a graduate assistant for him at Mississippi State and went to him with Florida.
That explains the Matthew Sluka power rushing attack
from the quarterback. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Which is a little bit of a concern because I don't know that Dylan Morris has that body type.
Oh, that's a big concern. Yeah. I think that's a big concern. But Dylan Morris, what year is he? He's a senior. So it's just 1 year, of going light on the quarterback powers. Then you get your guy. All right.
Yeah. Patch it up. I mean, we didn't always have an elite quarterback and we still had some pretty successful
years. Still have Barrett too at the quarterback spot. We'll talk more about that in a second, but folks, what to tell you, college football experience, JMU Duke style is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em, is here and they're giving you a chance to win 1,000 times the amount of money you enter. Or you can sit there and play the fantasy football that they offer the right way with Best Ball. Best Ball Mania is live with $15 million in prizes. I can't believe we finally have college football best ball. We dropped an episode about this. We did a live draft on this very feed. So go check it out. You can now use specials and boost on all flexed entries as well. So sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. Once again, underdogfantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. We're also brought to you by Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Yes, Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football season? May I recommend the Ultimate Contest Weekend? It is a great time to go out. You can hang with my pals, Stacking the Money Green and Real Money Kramer, and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd to August 24th. Also, use the promo code SGP15 to save you 15% off your hotel room that weekend. But you do want to sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with a proxy. Go to proxy.footballcontest.com to save you $50 with the promo code SGP. And they're also going to give you a free hat. Who doesn't want a free hat? Let's go. All right, back talking JMU football. Patty C, I'm not counting the national championships that were won in the FCS.
Yeah.
Best wins against Power 5 opponents.
Oh, that's an easy one. One.
Was it a top 10 ranked Virginia Tech?
Yeah.
21-16, and they haven't scheduled you since?
Yeah. Pussies.
Dude, they did that with ECU too.
Yeah.
Virginia Tech ECU started beating Virginia Tech so much they said, you know what?
What does he
say? What does he say in My Cousin Vinny? I'm through with you, right? The
no
juror
more,
is like,
no
more questions. No more football games. All right.
Dude, credit to Tech. I think they're, got one scheduled for the late 2020s or maybe early 2030s, which would be about 22 years since they played us. UVA, however, waited about 40 years to play us after we beat them. So we finally got them. And what happened? We beat them again last year. That was beautiful. I don't care about all the other 11 wins or 10 wins last year. The UVA win was all I wanted, and we got it. So
yeah. And all those tiki torch motherfuckers were sitting there saying,
well I don't get bring the head cold, but
love what they're doing there and love the retro logo. Patty C, the offense a year ago was 21st in the nation in scoring per game, 34.1 points per game, second best in the Sun Belt, 36th in yards, sixth best in the Sun Belt, 48th in passing, second best in the Sun Belt, 91st in rushing, which, they had kind of been a power rushing team when they entered. I feel like last year they regressed a little bit. 12th in the Sun Belt. Which one shocks you the most there?
That's a good question. I mean, what's insane is if they're second in the Sun Belt in rushing, but only 91st nationally. that more than any team stat for JMU in particular it's a shocking stat about the Sun Belt. How pass happy that conference must be. But I would say for as good as Jordan McLeod was with his however many, I'd have to look up his stats real quick. 30, 34, 35.
Sun Belt Player of the Year.
Yeah, he had 3,600 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. For them to only be, what was that, 48th in the nation in passing, surprising. I thought they at some point, but combined, I guess ultimately they were a pretty balanced team. 36 they were 36 in pass. No, 30. What the hell am I reading here? 21st in scoring, 36 in yardage. What
they bring the head cold, but they're counting down 765.
Patty C.
The fuck is that?
Yes. Either way, the offense was good. I think that's the way to put a bow on it.
Right. Well, let me say this. I will say that they Todd Centeio was really good 2 years ago, but he only had like 2,700 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But we did have a little more, I feel like, rushing potential there. Percy Agayo Obese was close to 1,000. Last year was more running back by committee. But I just feel like we were just a little more happy to pass the ball. And I think maybe we had some better receivers last year too. So,
yeah. Shout out to the chat, Fillet of Fish, asking when's the week 0 preview. That'll be on Wednesday night. Patty C, there's only 3 starters back on the offensive side of the ball, but all of them are on the offensive line, which I actually think that might be where you want them back, right?
Yeah.
Tanner Morris, Cole Potts, Tyshawn Wyatt, all back. Breaking in a whole new team besides that, it seems like. And here's where I introduce you. Do you think Kurt Cignetti's a good guy?
It's is probably a no, but I'm still rooting for him.
The reason why I ask is because not only did he leave for the Indiana job, that son of a bitch took every goddamn player you guys have for the most part. I'm surprised he didn't bring Jordan McLeod, who went to Texas State. Conference Player of the Year is now at Texas State. But running back Kalen Black, Tyson Lawton, Solomon Van Horst, all going to Indiana. Guess what? Your top receiver, Indiana. Your number 1 tight end, Zach Horton, Indiana. And your best 2 offensive linemen, Indiana.
Yeah.
Whew, buddy.
Let me say this. Michigan, there's a good chance that they start like 8-0 if they beat Texas and Oregon at home. I mean, that's assuming a lot, but if they're able to, I think Indiana may be the team to catch them. And that's going to be a lot of Dukes on that team getting that done. We'll see.
Well, I mean, you go out in the portal and you bring in Dylan Morris from Washington. Obviously, Washington played in the national championship. So interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're the backup behind the number 8 pick in the draft, it's not necessarily an indictment on your skills. You're just stuck behind a very, very good quarterback.
I know he's probably way more talented as a passer than Alonzo Barrett, but Barrett would fit the offense more, right? Am I crazy?
I think Barrett is a sturdier body. Dylan Morris seems somewhat athletic. What is he, like 6'2", 200 or thereabouts? So that's not the kind of guy you'd like to be running quarterback power with 15 times a game. But yeah, if you can game manage to an extent and you're an accurate passer, which he has been, I think career he's at what 60% over 4 years. A little high on the interceptions. 20 touchdowns, 17 interceptions during his career there at Washington. So that needs to get cleaned up. Let's be honest.
Yeah, the running back room though. Ayo Adaye from North Texas was a beast there before they started throwing the ball every play. George Pettaway at North Carolina, I think, is good. Shout out to Leg Show Magazine. Hello, glue sniffers. I like to huff paint. All right, get it right. No, I'm joking. What's up, Leg Show? Dude, I'm bullish on the running back kids.
Dude, Adaye 2,300 career rushing yards. That ain't nothing to sneeze at. That's good production. Yeah. That's a guy you can bring
and let's not sleep on
Joby
Mallory coming in from the Vikings of Portland State, and Tyler Purdy from Holy Cross. Get that Holy Cross blood in there. All right. Wide receiver wise, also Cam Ross coming in from UConn and their passing attack. Nakai Poole from Mississippi State, some SEC talent. Don't sleep on Breon Penny, who's the brother of Rashad Penny, coming in from San Diego State. Amarian Granger from Old Dominion. What, the Royal rivalry meant nothing to that turncoat son of a gun, right? Tight end Logan Kyle coming in from Vanderbilt, and then offensive tackle Pat McMurtry from Holy Cross, from fucking Holy Cross. Offensive lineman Hunter McLean from Virginia Tech as well. Patty C. And also Jesse Rammel from St. Francis, the Red Flash. I love the. He's like, I need to go to a Catholic school to see. What can I pull up here?
Let me say this. JMU has some branding issues going on. The band is the Marching Royal Dukes. I guess it's a Duke, it's a Bulldog, it's of some royal variety. But James Madison is specifically against a monarchy government. He was the implementer. He was like one of the framers of the Constitution here. So why is that the royal rivalry? We should not be participating in any kind of royalty situation here. So someone fix that. But it is what it is.
Hello, you play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
I would say you're right. He got some solid pieces there. I mean, obviously a Power 5 running back in Pettaway. I think Morris was a 4-star, a highly regarded 4-star. Like you said, Penny, brother of is Rashad Penny the nation's all-time single-season leading rusher or career rusher? I
thought that was Donnell Pumphrey.
Oh, you're right. That's
Pumphrey, I think it was Donnell Pumphrey.
Penny was the guy that followed him.
Yeah.
But Ross 44 catches last year. I think Breon Penny had, if I'm not mistaken, 24 catches. So some good production coming in to replace all that they lost. Maybe that'll help out to have some reliable targets. Pretty good job patching it up for all things considered. Still, you can't lose that much and expect the talent level to be the same.
Well, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. But before I do that, I do want to let you folks know that the JMU Dukes season preview episode for 2024 is brought to you by Rhythm. Football season's here, and the college football and NFL models are now live on Rhythm. Create your own winning betting model or let Rhythm do the heavy lifting for you. You decide what stats matter most for you, and Rhythm will build a custom model around that. Or you can sit back, crack a cold one, and let Rhythm do all the heavy lifting for you. Like I'm doing. Rhythm uses AI projections from MIT data scientists and quants. Rhythm also has you covered for NFL Week 1 and college football Week 0. I like those Yellow Jackets plus the points in Dublin, Ireland there against Florida State. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of the MLB. So if you're listening to this down there in Harrisonburg, get yourself out to a Nats game or maybe you have the courage to go a little further. The Camden Yard, beautiful Camden Yards. Yes, because Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of the MLB, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. And this also works for football and pretty much everything else. You're going to go see Chappelle or something coming to town, or whatever. Like I said, you're going to go out to Bridgeforth Connect Stadium there, have a great time, tailgate, jump in that big ass lake. All right. Pull out the Game Time app before you do that. Purchase those tickets. All right. Take the guesswork out of buying those tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that redeeming code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, terms apply. Create that account. Redeeming code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, talking defense now. This is the most impressive thing to me. They were number 1 in the nation in rush defense last year.
Boom.
61.5 yards. I mean, that's impressive, dude.
Well, it is super impressive, but I guess it has to be kind of qualified a little bit by the fact that their passing defense wasn't so elite. So
105th in passing yards or pass defense, giving up 267.1 yards a game. 19th in total defense though, which was 3rd best in the Sun Belt, and number 1 in scoring defense in the Sun Belt. Getting after it. The problem is, Patty C, when I look at the returning defenses, Daniel mentions in the chat, no one on the defensive line is back, but you do bring back Ford Torres Jones and Chauncey Logan and Jacob Thomas in the secondary. Punter Ryan Hansen also back in case you really want to a sharp edge. Buddy, this team, it's like a bulldozer. A bulldozer got taken to this team. And you know, you want to blame it on everyone else, other schools? No, it's all Kurt Cignetti, because this is what happens. You sandbagging son of a bitch. You came in and grabbed the 3 starting defense: James Carpenter, Tyree Tucker, Mikhail Kamara, all on the D line going to Indiana. Your top 2 linebackers, Jalen Walker, Aiden Fisher, going to Indiana. Your starting corner, D'Angelo Pounds, going to Indiana. The other corner, Brent Austin, going to South Florida. Long snapper Caden Schnickel going to Michigan State. Good Lord. I'm telling you.
He wins. Look him up.
What is, yeah. Well, it's obvious when you take your whole goddamn team with you.
Yeah, you better win. Asshole is an understatement. You know what really got me about Cignetti is like, I don't know if it's the JMU administration that does a good job of prepping the coaches to make graceful exits, but both Cignetti and Byington, the basketball coach, were heaping praise on the university and the athletic programs upon their departure. But Cignetti made like some social media posts where he's like, time to go get players. And like in the social media post, he's got like a circle around James Madison. It's like, wait, asshole, you just left. Like, hang on.
Mike Houston took over East Carolina after Scotty Montgomery detonated that program. I mean, they were horrible. They had like 210-pound defensive linemen.
Yeah.
Mike Houston comes in, and the portal was still going somewhat crazy then too. Maybe not as bad as now, but it was still very active.
Yeah.
He didn't bring in his whole JMU team. He had some goddamn dignity.
Well, you know what? Here's kind of what I think is happening too. Is JMU is in a let's be honest, it's a come up mode, right? They are in uncharted waters as far as success and clout as a football program. And so I think probably a lot of those dudes never dreamed of playing
in Big Ten. Yeah.
Big Ten type players.
I mean, I'm only busting Cignetti's balls. If I was him, I'd probably say, hey, why not take someone? I truly believe Texas State and GJ Kenny was onto something last season. GJ Kenny brought like 40 of his own players, 30 of his own players. No, he won 8 games because you're familiar with the system. It's not like it's completely different than like Dion, who just went and grabbed a bunch of different players and like 2 or 3 Jackson State guys, right? Because when you go grab a bunch of different players from Jackson State, it was like no, it wasn't that many. Well, Tyler Brown, their offensive lineman, had to sit out, but Travis Hunter, Savion Wilkerson, their running back, and I think they had like a defensive player or two.
And obviously,
yeah. So like it was at most 5, right?
Yeah.
And one of those guys had to sit out.
What, 13 from JMU?
Dude, they're like every starter. Every starter that was possible that didn't graduate came back for the most part.
Yeah. Kidwell injured for Indiana, by the way. That's a tough loss.
I did see that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not talking about. A lot of JMU fans want to hate on Cignetti. I'm rooting for the guy. Whatever.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, that's the game. To me, you're smarter if you, like I said, if GJ Kenny did that to Incarnate Word. I think Indiana will be ahead of schedule because of that. And like Daniel says in the chat, let's take Indiana on the over because I think, they really they're gonna. Yeah, I think they're gonna be a pain in the ass on some of those teams. They did add a shit ton of players too. They had to. They didn't have a roster. Bob Chesney showed up to Harrisonburg, Virginia, sounding a lot like John Calipari.
And you know what? I'm jacked about another opportunity. I'm like, let's go. Now, I met with the team. There is no team.
That's the way Bob Chesney got to Harrisonburg. It's like, what's going on? I got 6 players here. Defensive end Lloyd Summerall comes in from South Florida. Kyrie Mans coming in from, or is that Carey? From Colorado. Chris Fitzgerald. This is what I love. He knows the Northeast. He'll go to a Yale Bulldogs and say, "Hey, this Fitzgerald kid played us. He's fucking good." DJ Cotton coming in from West Virginia, and he's going deep diving. Shout out to his scouting team. AJ Abassi coming in from West Virginia State. Woo, deep. Eric O'Neal coming in from the fucking Long Island Sharks.
Well, let me tell you what. There is a lot of culture clash that's going to have to get worked out here between Yale, West Virginia State, Long Island, Holy Cross. What the fuck is going on?
Tusculum? How do I pronounce that? Is that correct? Tusculum? Tusculum.
Tusculum. Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck that is.
That just sounds like balls and shaft right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it just sounds like something.
Some anatomical term for your asshole.
Patty C. He also decided to raid like UConn. There's multiple players from UConn coming in here. Just the whole Northeast. He's like, I know Northeast football. I mean, really, when you look at this, he brought in a shit ton from the Northeast. Jacob Dobbs was a fucking stud in the FCS though at the linebacker spot for fucking Holy Cross. Raymond Scott coming in from Fresno State too.
100. How many tackles did he come out with? He had 112 tackles and 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. That is Luke Kuechly coming down from Holy Cross to play for the Dukes. I'll take that one every time.
Yeah. Yeah, he also brought in and don't forget a Gardner Webb transfer who's on the schedule. Get some intel. I like this. Ja'Kai Young, the corner coming in. Patty sees the defense going to be anywhere near as good as last year.
Well, probably not. But I do think that it was somewhat of a schematic thing, obviously, that made them so ferocious on defense. I think probably the fact that they were leading by a lot in a lot of those games contributed to the fact that they were a great rush defense and a poor pass defense because teams would have to pass the ball to try and catch up to them. But who was that freaking guy that was so nasty for us last year? Jalen Green, 15.5 sacks. And how many games did he even play?
And he only played like 8 games. Charles Haley 2.0.
Yeah, he should have been National Player of the Year if he had stayed healthy.
I agree. He was brave. One game he like literally put up like a Derek Thomas Seahawks performance where it was like 5 sacks and a safety. And you're like, good God, like this is unbelievable.
Yeah, I can't imagine that is a system thing. I think that's an absolute talent thing on his part. So yeah, I don't think we're going to replace that.
Yeah. Shout out to Easy in the chat. People blame Cignetti for taking the players with him, but if they hadn't, they would have gone somewhere else. Probably right. It
just seems like Jordan McLeod. There you go. He was a Sun Belt Player of the Year, and he goes to a team. I guess Texas State throws the ball around quite a bit themselves. So it's a little more certain of a situation that he's going to have success there as a continued success there. But damn, he had a great year last year, and Chesney's nothing to sneeze at. It's like, dude, just stay where you are, and you'll probably
They're probably going to run him too much. He's probably like, I see Saluka's rushing stats. That's the one thing. I thought Matthew Saluka was going to come over. He ends up at UNLV. I thought it was a perfect fit for Matthew Saluka to come into JMU. I was surprised that didn't happen.
You know who he kind of physically reminds me of? The guy who won our first national championship, Justin Riscotti, who was the Louisville transfer. Just a big body, and his basically quarterback powering was the extra element that got us where we had to get to, and got us the title. So,
watching Boston College try to attack the quarterback power from an FCS team known as Holy Cross was fucking incredible. Like Boston College should have lost that game if he doesn't step out of bounds. Looking back, it was like a 60-yard touchdown run. Just a hilarious game. So there's no way the offense or the defense will be as good as last year, right?
Probably not. Now, are we ready to peek at that schedule?
We're gonna look at that win total, and that win total says 8 fucking wins.
Shop around. I mean, actually, don't shop around. 8 is as good as you're gonna get because I'm seeing a couple of places with the 8.5. DK
has 8 for the JMU Dukes. Now I will say this: Chesney's he's never had a losing season besides 1 year in his 14 years. 1 year in his 14 years, and that even at that it was 5-6. So JMU coming in here, 8 wins. Are you surprised at that number, Patty C?
It seems a little optimistic. Look, I know I'm a little probably gun shy after last year, specifically the Cincinnati thing. I just thought, hey, a program with this level of sustained success is going to have enough depth to have at least be a bowl caliber team. Cincinnati, a couple of years removed from a college football playoff berth. I didn't think it would just completely bottom out, but it did. JMU facing a similar, almost identical circumstance here, and yet projected to win 8 games. That seems a bit optimistic, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and the overs at -130, the unders at +110. So I guess Vegas slightly the tiniest of a lean to saying a 7-5 season is more likely than a 9-3, but not that much. It's not. They're basically saying 8-4 is gonna happen. They're +750. What's that?
But the flip side of what I just said is that we are. That would be a disappointing season by JMU standards. I mean, even our 8-3 year, the first year in the FBS, we only played 11 games. So, I think we're a program that regularly should expect to win 8 games at least. But this year in particular, it seems like a pretty big question mark.
Now, I'll say this. I came in when I saw that number, I said, oh, this is going to be a lock on the under before I peeped at the schedule. Let's take a look at that. By the way, they're +750 to win the Sun Belt. They're +2,500 to make the playoff, and they're +90,000 to win it all. Jumping into the schedule. Week 1, they head to Biff Poggi and Charlotte. I'm taking Charlotte to win this game, but I do think a
lot of people pronounce it Poggi. Are we sure it's Poggi?
It's Poggi. It's Poggi. Those are fucking idiots. All right. But I'm known to be an idiot. I get everyone's name wrong, but that one I got right because that one matters to me. All right. Yeah. That one matters to me. Patty C, I do think I'll say this. I have Charlotte winning this game and covering the 10. They're my week 1 special moneyline play, but I don't expect it to be a blowout. I have this as like a 24-21 type of game.
Here's my take on this is you repeat some nonsense frequently enough, people start to buy in. This is your repeated nonsense to the point where, maybe I'm starting to get a little concerned about this game. I thought we would be 3 touchdown favorites, but all the change, maybe we're probably less than that. And the fact that you're so hyped on Charlotte, maybe it's a game we do need to be a little bit careful about here. But I just think
Charlotte in general. First off, I was impressed in year 1. I know that some of the scores got away from them, but they almost beat Memphis. Considering what he walked into, which was such a non-physical team. They were like the epitome of a bitch team the year before, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that he brought in a lot of Michigan guys year one, not as many this year. I think only 1 or 2 this year, but he brought in a bunch of talent this year that they just haven't seen. So I think second year there, the line of scrimmage, especially in the AAC, I think honestly them and ECU are going to be some of the more physical teams in the AAC when it's a lot of finesse going on. And I just think like the defense is going to continue to get there. I just think he's a very good football coach too. Like if you look at what he's done high school wise and like the coaches he's been around, John Harbaugh and Jim Harbaugh, I just think they're going to get there at some point. They're bringing in talent that they hadn't had before. And I think what better time to get JMU than right now? Now that doesn't mean, like I said, that doesn't mean, like I said, I don't have this as a blowout. I mean, they're 9-point dogs or 10-point dogs for a reason, but I think Charlotte is more intact to what Biff Poggi wants to do. I also think that style of ball is going to give Bob Chesney a hard time because Bob Chesney loves power offense, and that's Biff Poggi. That's what he's been installing at Charlotte. So, I think it's a kind of a beautiful storm. I have Charlotte winning, but it's not like this is like 51% to 49. I'm definitely taking the points. I think the points is a fucking lock, but I have them losing at Charlotte.
Grain of salt for our listeners out there. Colby also has Vanderbilt beating Virginia Tech in week
covering, and it's going to be a 1-score game.
I have JMU beating Charlotte. I will say that while we did throttle some decent teams last year, we also had some close games. We kind of barely beat Old Dominion. Some of the teams did dress up the scores against us, but it's not like we're sitting here, we're not Georgia as much as we would love to think we are. So I think we're going to have some close games. They are getting us at a good spot, and the fact that it's on the road, dangerous. But I think we get the win. It might be a 1-score game though.
I got them 0-1. You got them 1-0. Then you play an FCS playoff team a year ago, but once again, this is the JMU of the FCS because Trey Lamb left for the East Tennessee State job, and Gardner Webb, and with that he brought like 30 of his players. Gardner Webb actually did a great job patching it up. They hired a coach from the I'm drawing a blank on his name right now from South Carolina staff. I think they've done a great job reacting, just like Chesney did at JMU. But I have to say, JMU is going to take Gardner Webb down. If it had been Trey Lamb and Gardner Webb of last season, I thought maybe that'd be a game because they gave App some trouble. But
7-5, they gave they got housed by ECU. They did. I wouldn't say they gave App trouble. They lost by 21 at App. But
but that was a closer game for a long time. They gave them trouble. I watched that game.
Gardner Webb's not a terrible program.
But they're breaking a new. So 1-1, 1-1. You got them 2-0, huh?
Yeah.
You get a bye week and you get ready to go to Chapel Hill, this is why I'm kind of bummed out that all those players transferred because their physicality would have been a serious issue for North Carolina this year.
Well, I want to say, North Carolina handed our ass to us one time, but NC State, who has been about 50-50 with North Carolina, we went toe-to-toe with, and if we didn't fumble down at their goal line, might have gotten an upset on the road against them. So I don't think the likes of North Carolina, we beat Virginia. We've beaten Virginia Tech before. I don't think North Carolina is the type of program that's been better than, even really that much better than us as a program over the past decade or two. But yeah, they're definitely have a huge advantage this year, especially this early in the season.
Yeah, I got Carolina. I got you 1-2 in your first 3. It sounds like you got them with a loss.
Yeah. I like the buy there, but it's not going to make that big of a difference.
So you got them 2-1, and then Patty C, did you put this game on the schedule? Patty C's MAC school, his MAC school officially on this show has been Ball State. Mike New and Ball State come into Harrisonburg. I was going to say if this was in Muncie, maybe they could get you, but no, JMU with that crowd behind them. I got you going to 2-2.
Boom! You're giving Bridgeforth Connect its dues.
I like that Bridgeforth Connect thing. That fucking lake. That lake wasn't there when you were there. At least from my recollection of partying.
It was there. It was there. But I looked at recent pictures, and it looks like they've taken the the what is that? The willow tree that was right next to Port Republic Road there and torn it down. But I got me some action under that willow tree. Believe you me.
That's probably that was probably her taking it down. That was probably her being like,
yeah,
God.
she's like, get rid of this. This never happened.
Oh man. So 3-1 for you?
3-1, of course.
And here's what's great about this schedule, and which is why I think to the guys in the chat, Capper and Daniel, I want to just conference play starts now. I want to emphasize how down the Sun Belt is this year to me. Right? Aside from App State, there's really not much coaching continuity. You have new head coaches at what? You have new head coaches at ULM, Troy, South Alabama, JMU. Forgetting one. There's another one too. Anyway, you got a bunch of new head coaches
in the Sun Belt in general.
You got a bunch of new head coaches. South Alabama is the other one, right? And you also have like legendary players leaving, like Coastal Carolina loses Grayson McCall. I expect big time regression after a guy that started there for like 5 years, right?
Yeah, what is it, 2 or 3 time conference player of the year?
Yeah. All right. So like you got that going on. You got Georgia State's coach left like mid spring practice for a tight end position, right? You have. I'm encouraged by Texas State. I guess I'm supposed to be encouraged by Louisiana and Michael Desamoreau, which I'm not. Butch Jones at Arkansas State. I'm not. Marshall, who's been a power run team under former fullback Charles Huff, is changing to the air raid in that weather. Like, I find the conference. I was doing these shout out to Lante Smith.
Favors.
Well, no, I shout out to Lante Smith. Like, I just feel like this is App State's to run away with, and maybe Texas State in the West, because this is the only conference that still has divisions. But as I tell Lante after every episode, and I think sometimes on air, but after every episode, I get done and I go, dude, someone's going to win these games. Like there's too much down teams. Someone is going to capitalize off that. It could be JMU, it could be Marshall, it could be Southern Miss. I don't know, but someone is going to win these games. There's going to be another team emerge because it's just there's everyone else is down. Someone's going to grab these wins.
Well, let's look at those Sun Belt standings last year. I mean, hold on, let me get that pulled up. JMU and App State we expect to still be in the mix, but you're expecting Coastal, who is third in the East, to be a little down. ODU could be the team that's.
But I expect JMU to be down coming into the season just naturally. Not, you know what I mean? Like, but that's what I'm saying is like, should I still consider them a contender? Because if everyone else is down, wouldn't you still benefit from that?
Yeah. I mean, that definitely is to our favor, but you're right. Someone could emerge that we're not expecting. I mean, depending on who has weathered the offseason storm the best. It's not like in the East there was that big of a. I mean, Georgia Southern was the sixth worst team in the East, sixth place at 6-7, 3-5 in conference. They were still a pretty respectable team, Georgia Southern, a bowl team. So, yeah, if they get things going, I think Georgia Southern, a lot of people are projecting to be a loss on our schedule. So,
well, they could be, to me, the sleeper. It could be JMU too, but I'll tell you this, man. Bryant Vincent goes to goes to ULM. He was an interim head coach at UAB for Bill Clark 2 years ago. He was at New Mexico last year, right?
Yeah.
I'm not all the way sold. I'm encouraged by it, but I kind of think Terry Bowden was doing an okay job. The wins just weren't showing, right?
At ULM.
Yeah. Now then I look. Hold on, I'm just going by all the new hires, right? Del McGee to Georgia State. I actually think can work out, but not this year because he was mid-spring practice. And they also their shout out to their athletic director who put a month of away games on the schedule in October. One whole Georgia State is. So with that being a disaster, then you're like, okay, well, Kane Womack leaves South Alabama and goes to Alabama.
He left
and
in a
Major
pretty strong place, though.
Yeah, true. But Major Applewhite, I'm kind of encouraged, but he was also a head coach at Houston. Didn't necessarily kill it at Houston, but did all right. I'm kind of encouraged by that. Gerard Parker going to Troy had me a little bit scratching my head, right?
Yeah.
And then Bob Chesney goes to JMU, and I sit there and I go, "Who's the one I trust?"
The Notre Dame, tight end coach turned OC.
Yeah. And then I get to Bob Chesney, and I go, "Well, I can trust that Bob Chesney is going to form a winner." I actually think out of all the new head coaches, I trust Bob Chesney the most, right?
Who are the established head coaches? That's probably the easier list to.
None. Applewhite started. Was a coach 2 years at Texas or at Houston. He did get him to bowls,
No,
maybe
not the new head coaches, like the coaches that are remaining there. We got Ricky Ronnie. We got who's head
Charles Huff. Huff. You got Sean Clark at App State.
Yeah, which you guys.
Clay Helton at Georgia Southern. Tim Beck at Coastal Carolina. DJ Kenny at Texas State. Butch Jones at Arkansas State.
Kenny will probably have them taking a step up,
but they're not on the schedule.
Yeah,
I have Kenny. I have Texas State playing in the Sun Belt Championship. But my point is that when I look at this schedule, and because we're starting conference play, that's why I've been talking about this and got away from the schedule. Is that first off, from the West, they draw ULM and Southern Miss. That is a genius schedule.
What did Southern Miss do last year? I feel like they were a team on the rise, but
no, that was 2 years ago.
3-9, yeah, they took a step back for sure.
It's a pivotal year for Will Hall, but it's not at Southern Miss. It's in Harrisonburg. So let's go through the schedule. They
like to have on the road, but
I don't know because I still feel like they might be improved this year. I'm doing the Southern Miss preview tomorrow morning.
Miss is a tough place to play. So
yeah, so they open up conference play October 5th at ULM. I have JMU winning that game, and I think they win it decidingly. You agree?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, then they're hosting Coastal Carolina on a Thursday night. I tend to think JMU will win that game with the home crowd, nationally televised Thursday night. I mean,
we have had the number. 2 years ago it was 47-7. Last year it was 56-14. That's not a team. I mean, they could. They're a good program, but for whatever reason, we've gotten the better of them by a lot. Getting them at home too. I'm going to give them.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a win too, and that puts us at 4. That puts me at 4-2. You at 5-1. I do have them losing at Georgia Southern on the 19th.
They got us a couple years ago. They were one of our 3 losses. Now I will say this: when we lost those games 3 in a row, Georgia Southern was the first one. We couldn't deal with their passing attack, and we had quarterback issues at the time. Late in the game, I think Centeo was out. So all that to say, though, they were a very good team, and I do respect Georgia Southern. So between them and the trip to Old Dominion later in the schedule, I will hand them a loss, JMU. So I'll say the losses here at Georgia Southern.
I just think Southern is like one of the teams to watch. This is a huge game, I think, for if you're looking for a sleeper. To me, if you're looking for a sleeper in the Sun Belt, it's not Texas State or App State because those are the obvious ones. I think you're looking for Georgia Southern, or I'm not a big Clay Helton guy. They're always the most like penalized. When he was at USC, they're always like the top 10 most penalized teams.
Yeah,
I am not a believer.
We whooped the dog shit out of them last year, 41-13.
That's what I'm saying, but I do believe like they're ahead of you right now because of at least they know. So in Statesboro, that's a good crowd. So I'm going to say Georgia Southern wins, but wouldn't shock me if JMU won that game.
True. And here's the other thing is this team lost their last 5 games last year. So they started
Georgia Southern, they do that every year.
Yeah,
that's Clay Helton. Look at the year before.
6-2 and then 5 straight losses. Is that what they did the year before too?
Yeah.
Well, catching them mid-season, maybe they're starting to take their downturn So that might be a fortuitous time to catch them. But either way, I think it would be a little too optimistic to think we're just going to keep winning all these games with our roster being so fresh and our coaching staff being so fresh. So I will hand them that loss.
Then you're home to Southern Miss, which I have as a win.
Me too.
So that puts me at the second bye week. I have you at what? It was 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 and 3.
Oh, 5 and 3. Oh,
you have them at 6 and 2.
Yeah.
Then they're home to Georgia State. Win.
It should be a win.
Yeah. So that puts me at what? 6 and 3, right? It puts you at 7 and 2.
Yeah. These next 3 games are all
this
super
is everything.
Yeah.
This is everything. And Daniel, no, you don't need to shut up. Daniel's saying like he's basically challenging us. This isn't the same team. Why can't those teams win? Well, I'm just saying like JMU's done this before. You know what I mean? Like JMU when Mike Houston left, I thought they might fall off. They didn't.
But
JMU
he's got
just
a point. Like we've never had roster depletion to the level that we have this year.
True.
It
can be
a
said.
Shit show. We could.
But the same can be said. Well, hang on.
Yeah.
The same can be said for these teams right here: ULM, Georgia State, Old Dominion. Those 3 schools, specifically those 3, their entire rosters turned over just like JMU's. So someone's got to win those fucking games. I'm going to trust the coach that's a proven fucking winner and not guys that were position coach last year. You know what I mean?
Although Ronnie is, building that program.
Well, I haven't got there yet. I actually have that as the like.
Lost.
Well, this is where it gets tricky to me. At Old Dominion, at Appalachian State, home to Marshall.
Marshall handed us one of our 3 losses 2 years ago.
Yeah, but they're fucking up, dude. They're going to the air raid. I think that's a mistake. I really think that's a mistake. So I think Marshall, they get Marshall. The other 2, I'll say, it comes down to that Old Dominion game because I got you losing at App. I might be at that Appalachian State game.
I honestly think we probably, maybe I don't know that I would favor us in 2 of the last 3 games. I think App, you kind of have to look at us a loss right now just because App is looking like.
Well, they have coaching continuity. Like it's definitely a loss to me. It's in Boone and like.
Although, how fucking awesome would it be if we fucked their season up? Because it's kind of been a tit for tat as far as like fucking each other's seasons up. So I think we're due. And look, if we come into this game 7-2 with only 1 conference loss, this is huge, obviously, for the Sunbelt East on the line. Look, my inner Duke is saying Duke's all the way, but for my capper that's trying to give good advice to the people out there is saying there's probably 4 losses on this schedule, which is what Vegas is seeing too.
Look, when I saw the number, like for the way I build these slides is I go see the number before I look at the schedule, right?
Yeah.
When I saw the number, I said, I'm locking up the under. But then you see the schedule and you're like, all right, I kind of think that Vegas got the number right. I think 8 and 4 is what I got them. And dude, I just did the Old Dominion preview. Go listen to the Old Dominion preview. I'm high on Old Dominion as a coaching a team that coaches their players up. But as far as portal depletion, Old Dominion is the epitome of the most depleted rosters every fucking year, right? Yeah. Georgia State is like, I feel like they're way behind the curve right now, right? ULM is bringing in a bunch of JUCO guys. It's just a nice schedule. You don't like, to me, who do you fear in the West? You fear Louisiana will be a bowl team. Arkansas State is a contender. Texas State is the preseason favorite. Troy, preseason favorite.
Louisiana. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about teams that are in the West. I thought you meant on our schedule. Yeah, Louisiana could be a bowl team. Probably. You think they'll continue in their
they go to the bowling every year, and because everyone else in the Sun Belt reloaded at head coach, they should reap the benefits, right?
Yeah. I mean, we got the 2 teams that finished at the basement of the division last year.
It's a great schedule. This is a fucking great. Imagine if you get Poggi. If you get Biff Poggi, then I have this team as 9-3.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm leaning. I mean, I think 8-4 is correct. I think Vegas is got a few books are showing 8, some show 8.5. So that kind of reflects that that decision between 8 and 9 wins that a lot of people are thinking. I'm leaning 8, and so if you can get, but I think I'm leaning over. If you get it at flat 8, you lean over, so you take the over there.
Well, especially like, Ryan sees it 8.5 on DK. It's 8 right now. And hold on, I have it up right now. So hold on, DK, it's 8 and minus 130 on the over, plus 110 on the under.
8.5, but I would take 8. You know,
that's what I'm saying. 8 is like, because let's be honest here. How much is there a 100% flat out loss on this schedule?
North Carolina and App State seem like pretty good chance to be losses.
But you won the last time you played at App.
Yeah, I'm not scared of App. Don't get me wrong. Fuck App State. We'll come in there and we'll whoop their fucking bitch asses. Let's get that straight from minute one. But look, on paper, you have to be honest. We're at it. I mean, who knows what could happen over the course of the season? A lot could progress to the point like where we're completely ready to take them at that point in the season. But right now, it looks like App State's in a better spot than we are.
Oh, I agree. I'm taking App to win that game. I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me. App lost to Old Dominion last year. So like Sean Clark, ever since they went to Sean Clark, with Jerry Moore, with Satterfield, with Drinkowitz, they were all they didn't lose games like that. Sean Clark loses. He throws a lemon out there once or twice a year. He's got the
Scott Satterfield gene.
Well, even Satterfield at App didn't lose like that though in those games. So, I don't know, man. I came across exactly on 8-4. I want to say under just because the new coach, but like the schedule's genius.
It did break well for us. I want to say we're like in the 90s or maybe even the like low hundreds as far as schedule strength. So, hey, it is what it is. Does that mean that I expect us to be in the college football playoff conversation? Probably not, unless we beat North Carolina and go undefeated. But if we go, as far as a win total situation, I'll take it. It's like Bronco Mendenhall said, give me the easiest schedule possible now.
Build that culture. Look, Daniel's saying, what on this team do we like on this team? I'll tell you this. I think I like the run game, bringing 3 starters back and bringing in a tackle from Holy Cross where they were a power run team and having those running backs. I like the run game. The pass game, okay, question marks. Defense, question marks. But I like the defensive coordinator. Mike Elko's a fucking genius. So like, and to me, you're not going up against prolific offenses. Even like North Carolina and App State are the only good offenses on this whole goddamn schedule. Maybe Georgia Southern. Maybe you could sell me on Southern. Old Dominion. I just did the preview earlier today. It was like the 88th ranked offense. I
think you're right. I think the schedule itself is the thing you got to be most excited about. Defensively, I mean, Hemphill, if he's an Elko guy and got some of his tutelage, those are always well prepared defenses. And then offensively, I will say I agree with you. You got to be more optimistic about the run game. Sluka last year, despite his 20 touchdowns and 5 interceptions, only 1,700 passing yards. He himself led the team with 1,200 rushing yards. So, but they also had another 1,000-yard rusher in Jordan Fuller at Holy Cross last year. So it sounds like they're a super run heavy, basically the Tim Tebow, Dak Prescott thing we saw them doing while they were at Mississippi State and Florida respectively. So,
if you remove the Power 5, North Carolina, they only play one winning team on the road from a season ago, and that's App State. It's just a great schedule, man. Like,
it is a great schedule.
I think they're going to be 8-4 personally. So like, I don't love the over or under.
There could be a sneaky loss in there. Old Dominion.
Yeah, I just want to lean under because it's a new head coach and that many players transferring in and transferring out. I want to lean under, but
Bob Chesney's first years at Salve Regina was 6-4, at Assumption was 6-5, and Holy Cross 5-6. So that suggests that maybe there's like it's going to take a year or two for him to get his stuff installed and for them to start their winning ways. But he's taking over a program that was in a lot better shape. I don't know though, because all the players leaving. So maybe you do want to lean the under. I don't know.
Well, I think actually the better thing is how many teams are just like that in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just perfect timing in a way. I think it's perfect timing for JMU to make the change, is because it's like, okay, who's got a better home edge than JMU? Not many teams in the Sun Belt. I think there's a few, but JMU has one of the better home edges, and the best teams for the most part, like your home schedule is, you're getting like Coastal and Marshall, which are harder away games than the ones you're playing. You know what I mean? So like, it's just a nice schedule. I'm going to lean under too, just blindly, but I don't feel, I feel like this is an 8-4 team.
I'm taking the over. Yeah. I'm leaning over just because I think,
dude, they could go 11-1. Like, I look at this and I'm like, I mean, I don't know. It's just this is a fascinating team.
We did it last year. We did it fucking last year. You know?
Well, and you've done it with multiple coaches too, whether it's Everett Withers, whether it's Houston. Yeah. Right.
Let me see here. Recent seasons for JMU.
Daniel asked, show me an example of a new coach, new roster that won. Kalen DeBoer at Washington, year 1. Not last year, because obviously year 2 he went to the national championship, but year 1 he came pretty damn close to being undefeated.
What did he do year 1? What was his?
You pull it up. I think it was like 10-2, and I think it was a close loss. And he beat Texas in the bowl game too. He brought in Penix, brought in that whole damn team for the most part. I feel like, at least at the skill position players, maybe the line of scrimmage might have been guys that
11-2 year 1. So that's kind of where we're projecting the ceiling for JMU if everything goes correctly. 14-1.
But where did DeBoer come from? He came from Sioux Falls. Where did Bob Chesney came from? He came from fucking Assumption. All right. Very similar in that regard. Yeah, I don't know. This is a fascinating one for the win total. I'm not locking up shit with this.
You'd have to be a fucking idiot to like really have great feelings about this unless you were on the inside. We got Easy in the chat saying, it sounds like he's got the inside scoop. He says one of his friends went to most of their spring practices, presumably. He said spring games, but and he said they look like shit. So we take that how you will. But Chesney seems to be pretty optimistic, saying he thinks they're ahead of schedule.
Well, can I be fair too? That I think the Sun Belt's going to look like shit this year, with the exception of App State and Texas State.
Yeah.
Like, I look around and I'm like, man, I think that conference is way the fuck down this year. Way the fuck down from years before. Besides App and Texas State, I don't know that anyone should be encouraged about any team in the Sun Belt right now. So someone's got to win those games.
It's going to be the Dukes. We're God's team. Okay, that's why Chesney went there. And look, you see that flag right there? That says fucking W.
That says 9-3 right there. I'm going to lean under. I'm with you though. I'm not with you, Patty C, but I'm with Daniel there, where I'm just going to lean under.
You're a sissy.
But it would not shock me if this team, this is like, I think maybe the one, like if I had to rank the ones not to lock, this might be number 1 because of the uncertainty.
Well, let me tell you,
the uncertainty on this fucking schedule is insane.
Yeah, it's a shit show. I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole. But there is one more thing to consider, and that is that we have App State circled on that calendar, and there is a lot of hatred in Harrisonburg that is coming. And so if there's an upset on the schedule, that's the one. And look, I think that puts us on the over. If I had to take a lean, there it is. You're on the under. I'm on the over. Fuck you.
It's that Charlotte game. If I'm wrong about that Charlotte game, the over's cashing. All right,
folks. We'll know by week 1.
I'll be at, and anyone going to that App State game, let me know. I know Easy was saying he's going to come out there. I think NC Nick and myself were talking about going to that thing. Oh. We may just be there. Let us know, folks. I lean under, but no lock here. I got him exactly what Vegas has him. I have him 8-4. Patty C's got him on the over. It's going to be fascinating to watch. Open up the schedule with 3 North Carolina opponents. Gotta like that, Patty C. A little regional, like a little border battle.
Flex on that state. Let's go.
Yeah. Shout out to Myron Kidd who's saying JMU App State College game day. Let's go. That would be fantastic. It's been a great story watching JMU on the come up. Folks, that's our show. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter at Patty C831. Let me ask you this, Patty C, before we get out of here. Would you sprinkle? Because if you beat App, even if you lose to Georgia Southern, in my opinion, you beat App, you are going to the Sun Belt championship game.
Most likely.
And it's the only conference with 2 divisions.
And
so
with Troy presumably taking a little step back and then being really the only threat out of the West last year. Am I wrong about that? Maybe.
Well, you might be facing your former quarter. I think the preseason
Texas
favorite
State,
to me is Texas State. Yeah.
They're a legit threat. So, but still, I would definitely sprinkle plus 750 on the Sun Belt champ. I think
jump on it.
12-team playoff and winning the Natty. Of course, winning the Natty is a waste of money, but I'll never say never. But 12-team playoff even seems pretty low odds, just because that North Carolina game seems pretty darn hard, and I think we have to win that one. So
yeah, it's gonna be fascinating to watch. I can't wait for the season, folks. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter, Patty C831. Let him know that JMU sucks. And yes, I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. Give me a follow. Also, the College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Always a great time of season, folks, is when the games are about to be played. We're less than 8 days away, or 7 days away now. Shit. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Woo!
Go listen. We got 134 previews out. This is like number 112 or something, 114. So we're right there. All these will be done by the time kickoff happens. Let's go. Also check out the Stadium Heads podcast. We give Bridgeforth Connect Stadium its flowers, and we talk about college football stadiums and college football history. Myself and Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour. Check out the Stadium Heads podcast. I encourage you to watch that one too. YouTube.com/@StadiumHeadsSGPN. Also, check out the College Basketball Experience. JMU, what a season a year ago. Can it continue on, Patty C, besides Duke beating the shit out of you in the tournament?
I'm going to say this. I'm hurt yet satisfied that the Duke guy that did light us up from the 3-point line has proven to be exceptionally fruity in the NBA so far. I forget his name, but that's the kind of guy that Duke has. So, whatever. Sometimes you lose. Actually, it's probably worse to lose to that guy. Let's be honest.
Also, check out the college basketball experience and the college baseball experience. JMU fields a good baseball team. Let's go. All those come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Get on over there, subscribe, hit that like button. God damn it. Give us a 5-star on iTunes. All you people in the chat. I know a lot of these names for a long time. I've known them. They're damn good people. They keep coming back. I appreciate them. Great, but guess what? You probably left us an iTunes 5-star review before, if I had to guess, based on how great of people you were. But you could do that again. And it really fucking helps us. You know what I mean? You can get over there and do it again, right? Isn't that a Steely Dan song, right? Let's go. Do that. Jump on over there. Listen to that Steely Dan shit too. All right, Steely Dan. Underrated.
Oh no, William and Mary won't do. That's what JMU said when we beat them in the playoffs and went to the national championship in 2004. Come on.
Till next time, folks. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. They got 32 NFL teams in that terrible ass NFL kickoff bullshit. Go check it out though. There's money to be made. All right. Till next time. This is the college football experience, JMU Duke style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And the whole team's looking and the whole world's looking with the cameras. Run and shoot. We can really run and shoot. And you know what you're getting, cause the books we written with the gamers. Everybody's trying to stop